Ford is not able to sell their trucks, especially their EVs, and that problem is bleeding into the other segments. The failure of the F-150 Lightning is causing issues on their own trusty and beloved trucks. They're scrambling to make up for losses, and some of these solutions come at your expense. So watch carefully. By now, it's clear that EVs are not doing well on the market, and I'm not going to even talk about that because enough has been said. But I want to tell you something very sinister that companies are doing to make up for the loss in money they face on their EVs: proprietary software. The latest cars from big names like Ford, Nissan, Chrysler, Subaru, and Mercedes are rolling out with some fancy proprietary software, stirring up a storm over vehicle repair rights. This software isn't just some random code, it's a power play that's putting dealerships in the driver's seat. The kicker? It means you're practically chained to the dealership for repairs, turning even the simplest maintenance into a trip to the authorized service center. Independent mechanics are hitting a brick wall, unable to get their hands on the necessary software unless they cough up big bucks. And guess who's picking up the tab for these extra costs? Yep, it's landing right on your bill. By embedding this tech into their vehicles, they're not just nudging, they're shoving customers towards their service networks. This trend is gaining speed, and it's not just a headache for car owners, it's a roadblock for independent repair shops. The message is clear: limited repair options, lighter wallets, and squashed competition. The grand plan? A landscape where prices skyrocket and choices dwindle, leaving both consumers and small businesses scrambling for repair freedom that's slipping away. Proprietary systems are tightly managed by the automakers, meaning any tweaks or updates can only be done by the company that owns the code. This creates major friction, especially when trying to integrate with open-sourced alternatives that thrive on openness and collaboration. The result? A choke point in innovation and a barrier to efficient problem-solving. Automakers are capitalizing on this, using tech as a gatekeeper to ensure that when your car needs a fix, you're forced to head back to the dealership. You see, when companies are losing money, they'll be trying to figure out ways of compensating for that, and that is what they're doing here. EVs are draining their wallets. According to reports, Ford was losing a whopping $36,000 on each EV they sold in the third quarter of 2023. Experts were thinking about how they would cover all this loss. Well, here it is, and it's not just them. These companies are flexing their muscles, using their monopoly on repairs to really call the shots on pricing. They can pretty much name their price since their cars are packing all that high-tech wizardry that supposedly needs certified techs to stay in tip-top shape. Those proprietary programs and unique parts make their rides look like robustly multifaceted workhorses worth every penny. They don't play when it comes to money, and they will not stop at anything. Because it's not like the government isn't doing anything, it's just that these companies know how to fight it. Let me explain. There is something called right to repair laws, and these laws are all about giving us, the drivers and independent repair shops, more control over how we fix our cars. Imagine this, a world where shady dealerships aren't the only game in town, just like in the old days. We're talking easier access to the tools, data, and all the nitty-gritty information that car manufacturers keep under lock and key. This would empower the mechanics to diagnose and fix our rides without having to jump through hoops. Just picture it, your local garage, the one you trust, with the know-how to get your car back on the road. No dealer tax required. Massachusetts is already putting this into effect. They passed the law forcing car companies to equip cars with standardized data platform. This platform acts like a universal translator, giving independent shops access to repair information. With your permission, of course. It's a total game changer, challenging the status quo where manufacturers hold all the cards. But the automakers, like Ford and their buddies, are throwing a wrench in the works. They say these laws clash with federal rules and could put our safety and cars' cybersecurity at risk. They even proposed their own laws and tried to slam the brakes on Massachusetts' law with an emergency motion. This right to repair battle is all about who's in the driver's seat. Us, the consumers who crave more repair options, or the automakers worried about protecting their secret sauce and keeping us on a tight leash. And the crazy thing is that open source software promises faster development, better security, and cost savings, while proprietary software relies on exclusivity and control to drive its value. So, what is the solution? How should you navigate the murky waters? The answer lies in the power of choice and the collective voice of the consumer. By consciously avoiding companies that exhibit such predatory practices and vocally opposing their tactics, drivers can send a powerful message. The act of choosing where to spend one's money is a potent form of protest, one that resonates with corporate giants. The lesson here is clear. The relentless pursuit of sales is the lifeblood of any business. Without a steady stream of revenue, the very existence of a company is at stake. In the end, it's a simple equation. No sales equate to no business. The consumer, therefore, holds the ultimate power to influence corporate behavior, ensuring that companies that fail to respect their customers' rights and wallets will inevitably face the consequences. It's a dance as old as commerce itself, where the customer leads and the companies must follow or risk being left behind in the silent halls of obsolescence. And it's already started. Toyota has chosen to steer off the beaten path. This automotive titan has embraced a philosophy that transcends mere profit accumulation, opting instead to apply the principles of fair play and equitable business practices. Unlike others, which are laser-focused on maximizing shareholder returns, Toyota's approach is a breath of fresh air in an industry often criticized for prioritizing revenue over relationships. More and more people are buying Toyota cars, and their market share is quickly leaving rivals in the dust. Consider the case of General Motors, a famous and respected name in the automotive industry. They attempted a bold maneuver, pivoting towards a software-driven business model. The idea was simple yet audacious: convince car owners to pay ongoing fees for features in their vehicles, like subscription services, on top of the hefty price tag they already paid to own the car. However, this strategy backfired spectacularly. Consumers weren't exactly thrilled about the idea of coughing up extra bucks on top of the purchase price. It was like telling someone they needed to keep paying for the privilege of using the radio. The rejection was swift and brutal. A real welcome to the real world moment for those automakers who thought they could redefine car ownership. Let's face it, there's a limit to what people are willing to put up with, and this whole subscription scheme definitely crossed the line. And the crazy thing is that this is not the only strategy that is designed to turn their EVs from failures into profit-producing machines. This might seem a bit complicated at first, so watch carefully. Ford's got something called Stair-Step Program for dealerships. This turbocharged setup is the real deal, offering some serious perks and incentives to those lot jockeys who can move some serious F-150 metal off the lots. It's a multifaceted workhorse of a program that gets juicier the more trucks they can shovel out the door. Buckle up, gearheads, because Ford's got a game changer for dealerships: the Stair-Step Program. This program is like a shot of nitrous for your sales. It's going to get your F-150s flying off the lot faster than what it used to take. Here's how it goes down. For every 2023 F-150 that rolls off the stretch of asphalt, Ford's dangling one sweet carrot after another in front of those hungry salespeople. Hit those sales targets and watch those commissions explode. You can bet that those dealers will be hustling like crazy to clear out their F-150 inventory. And when that hustle kicks into overdrive, well, let's just say things could get a little slippery. And you've probably heard this story before. You walk into a dealership, excited to snag your dream ride, and then bam! You're knee-deep in number games that leave you feeling like you just got played. It's like the salespeople are so focused on hitting their quotas that they forgot about, actually helping the customer. Ethics? Customer satisfaction? Toss out the window. But hold on, there's another layer to this whole mess. Remember those extended warranty pitches they try to shove down your throat, especially on used cars? Some of those policies are lining the pockets of the sellers with fat 50% commissions on every sale. 50%! No wonder they're pushing those warranties. Here's the problem though. A lot of these warranties are basically worthless. They come with so many exclusions and loopholes, they might not even cover a blown tire, let alone that major engine repair you were hoping for, because so much of the money's being siphoned off into commission checks. That is why you're seeing some cars from specific brands are dropping prices way faster than others. And here is the thing, folks, slashing prices on EVs might seem like a surefire way to get curious cats jumping into the game, but before you know it, bam! They've hooked you. Every time that electric beauty faces even a minor hiccup, you're practically forced to go crawling back to the same dealership that reeled you in. And guess what? That's precisely how they plan to keep those profits rolling in for the lifetime of the EV they just sold you. But wait, it gets even crazier. These insanely low price tags on electric vehicles are not just some amazing deal and crazy policies. They might be coming from manufacturers cutting corners left and right to shave off those dollars. You know, the kind of shady cost-cutting tactics that leave you stranded on the side of the road with a repair bill that could single-handedly power a small city for a month straight. And where does all that repair money go? Well, you get it at this point. And that's just the start of it. Here's the real kicker, folks. What about the resale value of these electric cars? Picture this. You finally take the plunge and snag yourself a spanking new EV, all sleek lines and loaded to the gills with cutting-edge tech. You're feeling on top of the world. Fast forward a few years though, and you're already itching to trade that baby in for a newer model. But surprise, surprise, those trade-in offers are as stale as yesterday's bread. We're talking about roughly 40% of what you paid for a practically brand new car. So where does that leave the future value of these EVs down the road? Well, let's just say they might not age as well as we all thought. It's insane to even think about it. But what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you on the next video.